Hi everyone, welcome to Strictly Roots. My name is Rimbi. I am your presenter. I am joined today by the amazing current Miss Africa Perth, Tensei Tishome. Hi girl.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming up today.
Thank
really
you for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
That's all good. Now I want to know, people want to know, who are you?
Oh, I'm Tensei Tishome. I'm 19 years old and I am a uni student. But yeah, a little bit about me.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm studying behavioral science at uni because I realized one of my passions is working with people, and I know you can do that obviously in every job, but I wanted to know how and why we do the things we do, and then that kind of went into how we think as well. So that will be hopefully the masters. But beyond uni, I like to sing. I like to dance, even though I'm not that great.
Nice.
And I love spending time with my family.
Cool.
And
Nice, that's great. So you are currently the Miss Africa Perth girl.
Yes.
How has that been?
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
It's given me a lot of opportunities, and I was very misdirected, and I think I spent a bit of the years without a purpose as well.
Okay.
So I feel like this has directed me to a purpose, and yeah, I love that. And at the moment, I'm actually planning my first event called Seeking Solutions, and
Nice.
I'll
Cool.
go into that.
Do you mind if I ask you what's Seeking Solutions about? If you can tell us a little bit about that event.
Yeah, sure. So basically, when I first started doing when I first won Miss Africa, I was going to a lot of events surrounded by I was going to a lot of mental health events and mental health discussions, because I knew that's the stream that I wanted to take, was within the mental health field. And I realized within these events there wasn't a lot of talking about solutions. And I know that there's not one solution for everyone, but I wanted to have I've got the platform to at least provide the solutions that I may find helpful and people around me may find helpful. So I guess the event is directed towards that. So bringing people that have dealt with mental health issues, hosting a panel discussion, and us sharing our solutions, I guess. So,
That's exciting. That's really good, and it's so encouraging. As most of you guys know, I'm very passionate about mental health. I've shared my stories. It's very encouraging and very it's great to see someone of your age as well talking about mental health. Now, I know that we've briefly spoken about the fact that you were born in Australia, but do come from, your heritage is Ethiopian. Are you involved with the Ethiopian community quite a lot?
Actually, I wasn't, because I went to a high school that was predominantly white people. So,
as normal.
So I went to a school that I didn't have a lot of, there wasn't a lot of diversity, and I got accustomed to it because it was my primary school and my high school. And I realized I was restricted from, my culture a lot. And I guess that's why I started Miss Africa as well, because I wanted to rekindle that, relationship, find my cultural identity. And then I started wearing braids again, and I found it. So I was, so now I feel like I'm more into the Ethiopian community. I've been working with the Ethiopian women's group as well, and they're doing pretty cool stuff with engaging the women of the Ethiopian community in the mental health issues, and actually talking about their own, because they've been bringing in, they've been doing workshops with mental health professionals as well, so that's really cool to see.
Oh, that's exciting. That's really exciting. Now I have to ask, because you obviously mentioned the Ethiopian community and your passion for mental health. Now, in the past, let's just say maybe 6 months, in the African community, there's been an increase in suicide, and it's an absolute it's heartbreaking to say the least, right? And I want to know, from a young person's perspective, what's your cultural understanding of suicide, if you don't mind me asking that?
Yeah, no, that's okay. It's actually a really important question to address, because I know, you know, people my age, as well as, you know, you don't have to be a certain age to have suicidal thoughts.
Absolutely.
So I guess coming from a young person's perspective, I think suicide for not only Ethiopian people but people with the two identities comes from a place of not knowing who you are and being lost and having an identity crisis. And I think that's a common theme within a lot of young people, and not knowing outlets to express the confusion, the frustration, the things that come up into the mind. And some of our communities, we're made to just keep going, and sometimes, you know, that energy to keep going gets lost. And I can see that within not only people with a cultural background, African background, but within Australians as well. So I feel like if you have people to talk to, and if you're having these thoughts, there's so many helplines as well, and maybe you won't get the answer, and maybe you'll find some answer. It doesn't matter if you're just speaking to someone. I think it's really important, and you know, if I could, I would help within a second, but there's one person can help the next person, and I think that's really important to know, just to speak, to talk to the people around you, your family. You've got that support. So
you're very wise, I have to say, for your age. And not to say that, you know, young people are not wise. I hate when people say that. But I mean, for your age, the things that you're talking about, the journey that you've come through, it's encouraging to see that. And I think that's why it's so important to have a platform like Strictly Roots, where we showcase the way that young people think, and we talk about solutions, because young people are as much part of fixing the problem as older people or anything else. So it's really good to have you and to like talk to you about these things. Now I want to ask you, because you mentioned obviously being born in Australia, but I guess I'm always interested, because of my own experiences as well. I'm always interested in knowing, how have you managed to blend? Because you talked about wearing braids, you talked about, you know, putting yourself on a big platform like Miss Africa Perth. You know, how have you managed to blend those two cultures to get to get to a place where you feel like, okay, I got this, like I'm as much Australian as I am, you know, Ethiopian or African or whatever it is. How have you managed to blend? Or maybe even saying, what has been the greatest lesson for you and fulfillment for you in blending those two cultures? Okay,
so I guess the lesson would be every day is a new learning experience.
Absolutely.
And within trying to blend these two cultures, I've realized that. And like I was saying, when I was younger, up until finishing high school, a lot of me tried to reject my cultural identity in a sense. You know, with the straightening of my hair, with just with like my mannerisms and everything. But I had to not beat myself down for that, because I realized that I am as much Australian as I am Ethiopian, but I did crave that feeling to be closer to my cultural identity, which is the experience I'm going through now. And it's so amazing, because I'm picking up on the things that I used to do when I was a small child living at home, whereas as well, you know, I love the beach, I love hanging out with like all types of people, so I love that I'm comfortable with that. I do find struggles, because, you know, the thoughts come up with being around the African community now. I feel like sometimes I don't understand things the way others understand, or like I feel like, I don't know, I need to like cross that boundary, I guess, where I can feel comfortable with just being me. Like it's not like coming from a place of me thinking, oh, I'm going to be judged. It's more like I need to feel that comfort, and I am every day. I'm feeling more and more comfortable, so that's pretty
good.
Cool.
I really like that. That's really good. And I think, I guess as well, I want to know from a young person's perspective, do you think that our communities could benefit from more social engagement, maybe through events, through family workshops? Because I can just assume that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I can just assume that as an Australian-born Ethiopian, there was probably a time where you just wanted somewhere to go, just someone to talk to and someone to show you and go, hang on, I've been through this, I've been through the trials and tribulations of cultural blending, and someone to just sort of show you the way, and someone to just sort of hold your hand. You know, do you think that we could benefit as communities from events and from workshops, from maybe conferences, but more programs that encourage that blending and that encourage that communal, coming together, gathering?
I definitely think that, and I think like schools need to implement these programs as well, because if I in high school, if I saw an opportunity through my school to go to an event like this, of course I would want to go, you know. And I had to do the work to find these events, if you get what I mean.
Absolutely.
And that the cultural, like making things culturally appropriate is so important. And I guess that's what I want to try do in the future when and if I am a counsellor, is making
when you are a counsellor
making myself available for young kids, because if you're going to see a psychologist, you want someone that understands your experiences. And that's not to say if the psychologist isn't someone cultured, you shouldn't go to them. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying like sometimes seeing a face on a poster, it will be more comfortable.
Absolutely.
So I definitely agree with what you were saying.
That's good. Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming. It's been absolutely eye-opening talking to you. And do you have any last-minute words for our viewers?
Well, I just want to say thank you to Roots TV for having me and for talking to you today.
It's okay.
It's been amazing. And for the last few words, I just want to say to any young person experiencing a an identity crisis, or trying to figure out who they are, it does take time, and you do go through different avenues until I guess you've made it. And I'm on that journey, so many other people are on that journey, and just be kind, be patient, and
thank you so much everyone for watching. We will see you every week. Bye.